Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bustlers, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun, although it's more like the Wednesday night screw job. I don't like the term bad beat, but it's hard to believe what I just saw and what just happened to me in the NBA in like the last 10 minutes, in which we had we needed one more basket from Grady Dick. He didn't get there. We lost the Scotty Barnes prop by half a point. We had the over in the Pelicans and the Pacers game, and all we needed was like 4 points in the last minute and a half, and nothing like watching an NBA team that's up 123 to 112 with like 35 seconds left decide to get a shot clock violation instead of just like, I don't know, shooting the ball, taking it to the rack. No one's going to hold it against you if you shoot the ball in a 10-point game, man, with 40 seconds left or whatever. Like Halliburton just stood there, gave the ball up. The Pelicans scored right away. And I don't understand why the Pelicans ran down the court to score, only not to foul after. Long story short, we lost by a point. We lost the total by a point. I think I just lost like 4 NBA bets by literally a half a point or a point in the last 10 minutes or so. But that's the price of doing business. We all know the rules going in, right? It's a cold world. Just ask the Kansas City Chiefs super fan. Xavier Michael Babadar. So I don't know if you guys, we will get a picture up of this dude later on, actually. I forgot to get a picture of this guy. The Kansas City Chiefs super fan. There's like a super fan that dressed up like a wolf and stuff. He went to all the games. He was really hardcore. Yeah, it turned out he was supporting his chief and his gambling habit by robbing banks in the Oklahoma and surrounding state areas. So he got arrested. And his lawyer's statement today was like pure gold. Today was a crazy-ass day, actually, and it was a day of death. So our condolences. A lot of sad stories today. Of course, Tim Wakefield passed away, Boston Red Sox legend, last year, and his wife just passed away today or last night or whatnot. So devastating for the Wakefield family. Richard Lewis, the comedian, died today. Virgil, WWF wrestler and longtime wrestler and manager Virgil, passed away at 61 today. Shout out to everybody joining us on SiriusXM channel 159. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. So we got a full house on the program tonight. Brady Cannon's going to step up and in. We're going to get into some golf picks. The Raging Redheads got some picks. What's in Cam's bag? George Kurtz. We'll talk some baseball futures and more with George Kurtz. Ian Cameron, A.K. Babano, kicks it with us. We talk NBA basketball and more with Paul Bovey. So as I stated, we got a full house on the program tonight. We've got games going on right now as we speak. St. John's beating Butler in a pretty important game for both teams. And pretty important game for us because we're on the over and we need some wins after all the bad beats and bad breaks we just got dealt in the NBA. So now let's try to win it on the college hardwood here. We got the over of this game. Total is 151. They're on pace right now. It's 59 to 46. But let's get into the games that are coming up right now. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Clippers are playing. I don't really understand the line movement. You know, what, Cam Reddish is playing? I guess because it was official that LeBron James is playing, but we all knew LeBron was playing. Anyways, it was 3.5 overnight. It went down to 3. We got it in at 3. It's 1.5 right now, the Clippers and the Lakers. They're tipping off in about a couple of minutes' time. A lot is being made, and not really. It's being brought up, but I like how people are trying to like sell this as like this is some sort of sentimental thing or something like that, in which it's the Lakers and Clippers last time they're playing each other in the same building. Like, as if like anybody ever thought that this is the Clippers building to begin with. All right, let's just be real. They should just be playing in the LA Sports Arena, right? At this stage. Although I say that, and we're going back a ways. I don't hold it against you if you're like the what, where, and what, who. I don't want to date myself, but that's when I used to go to Clipper games. I used to go see the Clippers at the LA Sports Arena. It's where the USC Trojans football stadium is, right? Like their basketball stadium, their basketball arena is nicer now. But the LA Sports Arena is like old school. They did like parts of Rocky there, all the TV shows, the old school, all the old school TV shows. Whenever they need an arena, it's always the LA Sports Arena. A lot of historical events happen there. All right, so that used to be the home of the Clippers. So this is the last time they're sharing a building, going head to head. The Clippers are getting their own arena next year. I like the Lakers. It's I still like them. If I like them at 3, I'm not going to say I don't like them at 1.5, but there is a difference here. Now they're down to 1.5. They kind of have to win the basketball game. Obviously, there's no Paul George tonight for the Clippers, but we'll be keeping our eye on this game in game throughout the evening. We're on the Los Angeles Lakers. College basketball is rivalry night tonight on the West Coast. We've got Arizona and Arizona State going head to head. These two teams just played, and it didn't end well. It did not end well for Arizona State. All right, so Arizona hung 105 on them. There's been some close games in the past between the two of them, but not too many of them, actually. We all sort of remember a couple of years ago when ASU beat them outright with a buzzer beater late, but for the most part, Arizona have drilled them. But the common theme is that there have been high-scoring games. I'm expecting this game to be a high-scoring game. You look at the Wildcat offense; they're a lethal offense. They could put points up. The Arizona's problem is they can't really stop good teams from scoring. Arizona State are not a good team; they're an average team. But I'm expecting this game to be a track meet. I'm expecting it to be a lot of points. You look at Washington; these guys have scored. They've scored 90 or more in like 4 of their last 5 games. They put up 91 against Washington. They hung 105 on ASU. They put 99 up on Colorado. They put 105 up on Utah. They dropped 82 on Stanford. They should be able to put some points up on the board tonight against this Arizona State basketball team. So we played the over. We didn't play a side. We just played the over this game. We'll keep our eye on the in-game numbers and see if we're going to jump in on a side as the world turns and goes on. The Minnesota Golden Gophers, the number 1 team against the spread in college basketball, are in action right now as we speak. They're getting 12 points. They're losing by 3 at the half. You're still getting 9.5 points right now with the Gophers. They're down 48-45. High-scoring game right now against Illinois. We're on the Gophers plus 12, but I think they're live at plus 9.5. I thought the number was overinflated. We'll get you caught up to date with the National Hockey League. We'll keep our eye on the Clippers and Lakers. Get you caught up to date with everything that's going on in the National Football League. The Wicked Wednesday. We're going to hit the link. Brady Cannon's going to step up in it. Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. Bring it.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. We've got NBA basketball getting ready to tip off in Los Angeles one last time. Although, like I said earlier, it's like far from a sentimental situation that the Clippers and Lakers are playing each other for the last time at the Crypt/Staples Center as co-tenants. I'll tell you what, I've been to that arena a lot of times, and I don't see any Clipper statues outside that arena. I'll tell you that. So. Co-10, I'm not really sure you're co-tenants to begin with, but the Clippers are getting their own new arena next year. It's going to be badass and state-of-the-art and stuff like that, but there's been a lot of line movement on this game. The overnight number was 3.5 points. The Clippers were favorites. It's down to 1.5 right now. LeBron and AD are good to go. Cam Reddish is back in the lineup for the Lakers this evening. No Paul George for the Los Angeles Clippers. We are on the Lakers, but we got in at +3. They're plus the 1.5 right now. And I brought it up off the top of the show. Arizona are playing against Arizona State. They're up 3-0 early in this game. They hung 105 points on them a couple of weeks ago, and they beat them by 45 points. This could be closer, but buyer beware if you think that the dog is going to be live here. Arizona could win this game by like 20+ if the shots are falling for them. We took the over 159 in this game. Let's bring in Brady Cannon right now. And the Rage Reddit, Cam Stewart. Brady, good to see you. How you doing tonight?
Hey, guys. Good to be with you. Wicked Wednesday, as always. And embarking on the beginning of another golf tournament, the start of the Florida swing. So we say goodbye to Hawaii and Mexico, California, Arizona, and hello to the Sunshine State.
As they inch closer to the state of Georgia for the Masters.
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's getting closer and closer. But there's a lot of, names in sports now and stuff like that with stadiums like, Heinz Field to Accu, whatever it is, and AccuSure this and that. But I got to tell you, this golf tournament, and no offense to whatever this company does. I don't want to offend the president that might be tuning in.
I know what they do,
right
Dave.
now.
AI. It's artificial intelligence.
This company, this name, far from rolls off the tip of your tongue here with the cognizant Like, really? The Cognizant Classic
Yeah.
in the Palm Beaches? Like, okay.
That's pretty funny, Cam. I didn't know that they were an AI company, artificial intelligence, and yet your name is Cognizant. Are you mentally aware of artificial intelligence? It's kind of weird.
It's like
The
kind of a weird
Cognizant Classic.
We go from Honda, like the Honda Accord, to Cognizant. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, Gabe's right. Like, I don't know. It's like this tournament, the Honda Classic. It'll always be the Honda Classic to me.
Yeah,
I love this tournament.
They're a multinational information technology services and consulting company based out of Teaneck, New Jersey, actually, and available on the NASDAQ market. But doesn't have the same, the Honda Classic was easy. This is a harder one not to stumble over. I'll tell you that. But like I said, people are already talking about the Masters right now, and the Gooch. The talk this week is all about Taylor Gooch's comments, and this guy's an idiot to begin with, and I don't really know why anybody cares. With like really, who cares? These guys that are on the Live Tour, like, really just won a lottery in their life. Like, they were at the right place at the right time in their world. Like, nobody cares about Taylor Gooch. But Gooch is saying that if Rory McIlroy goes and competes his career Grand Slam without some of the best players in the world, there's going to be an asterisk. It's just the reality. I think everybody wins whenever the majors figured out a way to get the best players in the world there. Now, it should be noted, the best players in the world are going to be in the majors. Gooch is not. Gooch has played in 11 major championships before. He's never finished in the top 12 in any of them. So he might be the last person, Brady, to be talking about pedigree and what Grand Slams mean when the guy's never finished in the top 12 of a major before.
No, you're exactly right. And you're also right in saying I don't think anybody really cares what Taylor Gooch has to say, but he has said some of the most outrageous things that they make you laugh. And that's
including
why,
that playing in the LIV Portland event was every bit as cool as playing in the Ryder Cup.
Exactly. This guy's like
he said this is just as cool.
Sure it is.
I mean, he's said about 3 or 4 things publicly in his life, and he's batting 1,000. Every time he opens his mouth, it is gold. That one you're talking about the Ryder Cup, you can see the clip there, and he says it, and Dustin Johnson is standing there with him, and DJ just kind of looks around and laughs. But Rick, Rory, I thought
he's sucking
really
up to
cool.
the Saudis, Gooch. It's better. He's like, this is better than anything.
It's like, this guy's really bought into this stuff, hasn't he? He's a company man. But I thought what Rory said today was really cool. And Rory kind of gave Gooch a little bit of benefit of the doubt, saying the reporter kind of led him down that path. So let's not put all the blame on him. But then Rory said, hey, on the other hand, like you said, Gabe, this guy's never done much of anything in his career, let alone the majors. So, who is he to, speak out about this stuff anyway? And last time I checked, all the best players in the world are there. So,
yes.
You're right.
Kinda silly.
He was very gracious, and then at the back end, he slapped him like a golf ball off the tee.
Right.
When he basically said, and by the way, the Masters is an invite tournament in which they decide if you're good enough to be invited.
Right.
They decided you were not good enough to be invited.
Yep.
And I like what he said.
It was
too,
awesome
Ken.
how he did
He
it.
said, Joaquin Neiman.
Rory's so
he said,
good.
Neiman. Yeah, he said, Neiman is here. He goes, Neiman's playing in the DP Tour. He goes, Neiman's flying around the world trying to win tournaments because he wanted to get into the Masters. He's not just expecting an invite, right?
Yep.
So screw the Gooch.
I gotta be honest with you, too. Rory better settle down too, Brady. Like this guy's turned face on Liv. Remember he was I'm the spokesperson for the PGA Tour and we're gonna do this and this. All of a sudden it's like, hey, it's not so bad. Like Rory's really changed his opinion.
He still
on a lot
hates
of
them.
stuff.
He's just trying to chill out and play golf. Like you can tell, like it's right back to the start with this stuff. I'm pulling for Rory. I'd like to see him win the Masters just to shut everybody up now.
Oh, it'd be great. It would be perfect now for him to win the Masters. Cam, I'm interested in what you think about this, and you guys kind of touched on it there. With Rory, changing his tune a little bit and calming down on the whole Live thing. And I mean, for the last year or so, it kind of seems this guy's been focused on anything but actually playing his game of golf for 4 days. What kind of chances do you give him this week going forward? Do you think it's almost a distraction he's not even aware about when he's playing, Cam? We haven't really seen him be dominant like he was, in a little while now. And it seems his second job, if you will, might be kind of taken away from some of that.
You know what it is, too? I've noticed over the last month, guys, Gabe, Rory's trying to back away from this stuff, and Patrick Cantlay's kind of the spokesperson now. He's like, this kind of hurt my golf game, and I want to back away, and I want to focus on this, and that's why he's taking a softer stance on LIV, where Cantlay's kind of like the guy, hey, I'll be the representative and stuff, and he's going to the player meetings, and took a lot of time out of Rory's game, and you saw it. He was worn down. He looked like he's like, I don't want to go to another meeting. This is pissing me off. And he'll let somebody else do it, right? So bottom line is, I think he'll play well this week. I just don't like his odds at 7-1. And the only issue that I have with Rory is he could take a big number on a course with 15 holes of water. He doesn't know how to minimize damage. So if you gave me Rory at 14 or 15, I'd probably look at it. But at 7, it's not enough for me, Gabe.
Don't forget, too, there's a little bit of irony behind it all, that Rory and Tiger are both so upset about like these players going and playing on the LIV Tour because it fractures the PGA. Well, at the same point in time, putting together their own tour, they're going to play in arenas, right? So that was another thing too. Like if you're Rory, as far as like being distracted and stuff in a business, I think he feels the same way about LIV. I think he hates them and he hates everybody involved with it, but he just doesn't want to talk about it every week.
Yeah.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. Let's do this thing. It's the Wicked Wednesday. This is SportsRage. Lakers and Clippers are tied at 12 right now. Last game ever between these two teams at the Staples Center / Crypt. The Clippers' new arena opens up in August. It does actually look super cool, and they should have their own arena. Like, really, it's dumb. Teams shouldn't be sharing venues and stuff like this. Like, the Giants and the Jets is dumb. It's like nobody thinks of that stadium as the Jet Stadium at all. It's when you pull in, it's blue, right? Like they cover it in green once in a while. It's like if you think of SoFi, it's not the Charger Stadium. It's the Rams Stadium. The Rams owner built it. So whose stadium do you think it is? Like it's the Rams Stadium. Like the Lakers, there's always been the Lakers arena. It's always bothered Ballmer because he's been so rich, right? And he's rich enough to do something about it. So it took him a long time to do it, but it's not easy in LA to get the land and all that. It's in Inglewood. It's by the airport, right by it's near where the Forum was. And it's pretty crazy, guys. We'll get to the golf picks, but people don't realize this. Like SoFi Stadium, but right beside SoFi Stadium is the Inglewood Forum. That's the legendary place. That's where it's like, oh, you can just feel the history when you're in the parking lot and stuff like that. But ironically enough, the Lakers and the Rams don't own that. James Dolan, who owns the Knicks, actually owns the Inglewood Forum. He bought it. But Ballmer is smart. He bought it from Dolan right now to crush any competition now. So now you got the Staples Center. Now Ballmer owns all the other arenas, right? So it took him 20 years, but now Ballmer's on top of the arena world in L.A. So we'll see if he can put the Clippers on top one day. So, Brady, what do you got for us? I'm not even calling it what it's called. I am not stumbling on this. At the former Honda.
Yeah, exactly. The former Honda.
The former Honda.
I went with Byung-Hoon An, Benny An at 28-1. Great start to the season. Fourth at the Century, lost in a playoff at the Sony, 16th recently at the Genesis. Riviera, by the way, was a course I used as a relatable course here to PGA National. Big on ball striking. So I've got course form here. I've got course history. He's got 2 top 5 finishes, does Ben on at the Honda Classic. And then he's got related course form as well. And another guy that checks all those boxes for me is Eric Cole. And Cole seems like a popular play this week. I think both with public and sharp bettors. And I don't always like to be in the majority like that, but I couldn't ignore the numbers. The guy's great on approach. He's got a great short game. He's incredibly familiar with this course. We saw him lose in a playoff to Chris Kirk last year. He just finished 10th at Riviera. Prior to last year's loss in a playoff at the Honda, he finished 4th at the Fortinet in Napa, which is another correlated course for me, big on ball striking. So I thought Eric Cole made sense. JT Poston at 30-1, a tick higher than Eric Cole. You could argue that this guy's been the hottest player on the PGA Tour. 2 top 6 finishes in Hawaii. He missed the cut at Phoenix, but was 11th at the Amex, 20th at Pebble Beach, 10th at Riviera. He's just been an ATM. He's just cashing top 20 finishes week in and week out. And then I went a little further down the board with the Canadian guys, Adam Svensson. His only win on the PGA Tour at the RSM Classic on Bermuda grass greens. That's what they have here at PGA National. He lives in the area. He's played this course for many, many years. Goes all the way back to when he was qualifying for the tour at Q School. So he knows this course like the back of his hand. He's tremendous in the ball striking stats. Last 24 rounds, he's third in this field for strokes gained ball striking, 8th for strokes gained approach, and 13th for strokes gained off the tee. So he's doing everything that you need to do well here. Got him at a big price. He's down more close to 40 or 45 to 1 now. And then finally, the Frenchman, Mathieu Pavone, who won at Torrey Pines last month out of nowhere to beat Nicolai Højgaard. Again, this guy's got all the ball striking stats. He's got a great short game as well. You know, if you look at his four starts on tour this year, he's finished top 10 in 3 of them, including that win at Torrey Pines. So those were the 5 outrights, guys. I also played each of them to finish top 20. And then I played 3 more guys for a top 20 only. I wasn't quite sure if they can get all the way to the winner's circle, but I like him to do well this week, and that's Daniel Berger, top 20 at plus 185, Bo Hostler at 2-1 for a top 20, and Christian Bezuidenhout at plus 250 for a top 20 finish.
Cam is all over Eric Cole on a weekly basis. Eric Cole has finished in the top 25 in 11 of his last 15 entries. So he's been pretty consistent in playing at the top end. Seems like a good top 20 play this week. Cam, what do you think of Brady's picks?
I love his picks. I almost took Poston as well. I have them for a top 20, all the plus money. I love Cole. I have him outright, Gabe, the same as Brady. If Cole's going to win, let's remember one thing. It was the Honda Classic. Chris Kirk hit a rock, hit a Honda, and then Cole was going to win the tournament. Remember that, Brady? I'm like, oh my God, it's going to go
crazy.
Through the car
I forgot
window.
about that.
They had the car right there.
Yeah, he actually hit the sponsor car. Right? Yeah, he hit the car. That was pretty cool.
He just shed like it.
They got a good bang for their buck because of that, because it was on every highlight show. They're like,
oh no, the ball might go through the glass of the Honda. It's like I'm watching Kirk and Cole sitting there going, wow, I'm going to win. And then he got excited.
That'd be badass if they would have opened the windows and he put it through.
Right. Yeah,
that'd be slick. You have it in the middle of the water and then boom, like you drive it right through. Bam.
It was
How
awesome.
about that?
Yeah, Brady will tell you it was one of the best tournaments of the year, and Cole almost won there, and that's when he had less experience. So, Gabe, I would suggest this. Cole is a money-making machine for top 20s and 10s, so I would definitely love him outright. JT Poston, too. I'm going to say this one thing. If you take a look at Brady's guys, state of Florida, Southern guys, small schools, like he went to Nova Southeastern. It's in Fort Lauderdale, Cole did. Have you noticed the California guys? They're not around for this tournament. It's different golf, different surfaces. They're afraid. I know this sounds nuts, but these California guys, like it takes a special player to play the wind and the water in Florida. A lot of these guys, local guys, SEC guys, Morency, like lots of Georgia Bulldogs this week, lots of Florida Gators. It's like one of those things. They eat this stuff on Berger went to Florida State. So Florida players and Georgia players do really well at this event. And Kirk went to Georgia.
Where did Corey Connors go?
Kent State.
That's kind of good call.
Though. That's an outlier.
Call.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one for you,
Golden
Cam.
Flashes.
Yes.
Can you believe that, Morency? Went to Kent State. Gotta love Corey Connors. He's the best.
Let me know what you think of this one, Cam. And you alluded to it there that, Patrick Cantlay, Phil Mickelson, a lot of these guys, the California kids, Max Homa, you never see him do well in Florida.
Nope.
And a guy that is a tour veteran that I think people have forgotten about a little bit that typically does really well in the state of Florida is another Florida Gator, Billy Horschel. He's had about 3 top 10 finishes here at the Honda. This will be his 12th time playing it. He's only missed the cut 4 times, and this is a very difficult golf course. So that's a pretty good track record here. I took Billy Horschel minus 102 in a head-to-head over Thomas Dietrich. Dietrich's only played here 1 time. That was last year. He shot a 76 and quit. He withdrew. So he might get back here and not have great feelings about being here. Obviously, he's been pretty good so far this year, but I don't know if this is the best track for him. Yeah,
he played really poorly last week.
He did. And I think Horschel's kind of a sneaky play in that head-to-head. I took him. Billy Ho is pretty much money in the state of Florida.
I love that.
Brady Cannon kicking with us. 25-23 for the Clippers right now. 2:27 left in the first quarter of play. So, Brady, before we get you out of here, there's been a lot of NFL talk over the last couple of days with the Combine going on. The draft, it feels like the draft is sort of around the corner, but it really isn't. I mean, the draft is in late April. It's pretty crazy, like the big gap. in between. But how's your football off-season approach? Do you bet any of the draft props, some of these free agent props that are posted right now? It's such a fluid market. It really changes with every media report that a player is going to sign with a certain team. But it is a pretty fun market with a lot of big variables and a lot of big numbers on the board.
No, you're right. The draft market is a very good market for bettors, and so much so that a lot of operators hardly offer anything. And I think when the draft was here in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, they were kind of forced to offer some bets on it because of the traffic and whatnot that you had in town. I used to never bet the draft. I did for the first time last year and made a couple of bucks, hit a couple of things. I didn't go crazy with it. That being said, I love the draft. I almost like the draft better than the NFL regular season. I love seeing these college kids, fulfill their dreams, their families. And, I love seeing teams, how they decide to build for the future and the deals that are made. It's a 3 days that I really enjoy. And I've just started to dabble in the betting of it. And you're exactly right, Gabe. You really have to have your ear to the ground and make sure you're getting good information, because you can get turned around on this stuff and be able to understand the coach speak when they're lying to you, when they're not. But yeah, good chunk of information, and you can really take advantage of some of these draft markets for sure.
And today, the big thing in the NFL, I've been tweeting about this. I'm going to go over some of the teams throughout the course of the show tonight. Was the NFLPA players poll about their teams that they play on. And the brutal assessments, it's really, really funny stuff. It's actually what bothers players on certain teams. The Buffalo Bills players love the organization, but they're bothered that the coaches and the staff sit in first class and the players sit in coach. That's an issue. Denver Bronco players love playing for the Broncos. Main complaint: numerous players' cars were stolen from the player parking lot. So, it's really funny to see each player's beef and what the team.
First world.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry, storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Let's do this thing. So I was talking about the NFLPA player poll in which they rank like everything about their team. So it's basically shared amongst other players in the league. You're a free agent. All right, what's it like? You know, what's the facility like? What's this like? What's that like? What's the travel like? And it's fascinating stuff to find out stuff, Cam. Like, did you know that there's only 7 teams that make you do it in the National Football League, but like the Baltimore Ravens, you have to share a room on the road with a player.
Are you
only
kidding
7
me?
teams do that? Yeah.
We're grown men. Like, what is
You
this,
need an
bullshit?
exception. There needs to be an exception for you to have your own room if you're a Baltimore Raven player. So players on the Ravens are like, this is like, I'm a grown man. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Like,
at the piano bar.
But that's the
Get
type
out.
of thing. They tell you want to be a free agent. Oh yeah, by the way, you split a room on the road with people
That's
if you
not
play
Morency.
for us.
I go to play blackjack. I come back. There's a sock on the door. Oh, Morency, what are you doing? I thought we were roommates. I got to get my own room. What a joke. These guys are grown men. That is
I mean, sharing a room with
ridiculous.
Odell Beckham Jr. would be telling you, hey,
Yeah.
keep it down, Cam. I'm trying
Yeah,
to get some rest.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, everywhere.
sorry, OBJ.
I got to be honest with you, Gabe. When you said the Buffalo Bills linemen are flying coach, that's a really stupid thing for the team. That needs to be addressed. That's not smart.
Yeah. I'll read the exact quote, but it's basically Bills players are perplexed and frustrated by the fact that the coaching staff and staff members fly in first class and the players fly coach, despite being too big for the coach seats.
Unbelievable. What a joke.
Your Seattle Seahawks, Cam,
Good
grade
break.
pretty well, actually.
Mhm.
The Seattle Seahawks ranked 14th overall in the National Football League in the annual report. Even though the franchise decided to move on from longtime head coach Pete Carroll, Pete Carroll received strong grades from the players in the locker room. The team, players like playing for the organization, like the team, like the culture, but feel as though that the facilities suck and that the owner's rich enough and should spend more money for a better weight room.
Yeah. That's
It's Microsoft money, Cam. They can afford it. They should have a better weight room. Like,
cheap.
you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
The New England Patriots have the worst weight room in the NFL.
Wow. Doesn't seem. Yeah.
The Raiders get voted like very high, but the Raiders, Josh McDaniels was the only coach in the NFL to get a D grade. He was voted by far the worst coach in the NFL by NFL players. It's a great poll. We'll go over some of your favorite teams tonight, and I'll read some of the funny complaints that some teams have. Like I said about the Denver Broncos are all fans of Sean Payton. They like the organization. They like the city, blah, blah, blah. Broncos' main complaint was their cars keep getting stolen from the team parking lot. And how come security isn't better? Which is a legitimate complaint. If you're an NFL player and you show up, man, you know what I mean? You're parking like a $90,000 car, Paul Bovey, in the parking lot. You're expecting your Lexus or even more so if you're Russell Wilson, your Lambo to be there, bro, after practice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've had 3 cars stolen in my lifetime, and I have to tell you, the first time it's like this really eerie feeling because you walk around the block like 5 times, figuring you were drunk. You parked it in another spot. And
well, before you realize the car's just not there.
Yeah, and here's the worst part about it. So whoever stole the car went through the toll at the Atlantic Beach Bridge, which at the time was about 75 cents. So I start getting these notifications that I owe $50, $100 because I didn't pay the toll.
This guy's cruising around. He's probably going to Atlantic City, playing some blackjack.
Yeah, great. Crazy stuff, man. Yeah, they got a beef. I mean, that's not right.
Yeah, no, you know what? Last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars, their biggest complaint, and they had a legitimate complaint, that there was a rat infestation in the stadium.
That's great. That's the real problem. Yeah. Rats.
Yeah.
For the record, too, it's not a surprise. The Washington Commanders got the lowest grade.
Of course.
Like they got a low grade for everything. Ron Rivera, like I said, the one I sort of have fun. I'm sort of going right to the coaches stuff. I want to see like what the players said about their own coach anonymously. And it's fascinating. So the 3 lowest grades, all are fired. Josh McDaniels had the lowest grade in the NFL. He didn't get through the season. Players have zero confidence in Ron Rivera and didn't think he knew what he was doing. Ron Rivera's not there anymore. And Arthur Smith. And isn't Arthur Smith the new offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Arthur Smith was voted the 3rd worst coach in the National Football League as far as confidence and imagination. Does he listen to the players, etc.? It's a fascinating read when you see, like, all right, you learn about like the franchises behind the scenes, and it's no surprise, guys. Like, who do you think was voted the best coach in the league? Andy Reid.
Yep.
Right. Sean McVay was right there. Sean McDermott was ranked 4th, actually. McDermott had high grades, yeah. Nobody had anything bad to say.
First class. Those coaches got to get those seats up. I'm mad about that. If I was a Bills fan, I'm like, I think it's ridiculous, personally. Why are you guys flying first class? These guys are huge guys. They're huge. That's like you're hurting these guys.
They should be chartering a flight, to be honest.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I mean, he's like, were you guys flying on Southwest Airlines, Black Hole?
Our flight is delayed. Shut up.
You're worth $5 billion. I think you could charter a damn jet or two to fly to play the team.
That is so tight. Like, you're right. Like, get old. You're an NFL.
Well, imagine
franchise.
sharing hotel rooms in the NFL.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get it.
Like, you guys that cheap? You can't pay for 2 hotel rooms? You guys going to make me?
Crazy.
Come on, man. I guarantee you, too, big offensive linemen, these guys are snoring away and stuff, too.
Good call.
Man, you're dealing with some dude. He's crushing food till 4 a.m.
Yeah,
he's sleeping all night.
I mean. You're right. That's going to affect play. You're right.
You got some other dude. It's all, you got other younger guys that are bringing girls back, and they're all upset. They're like, dude, you got to leave the room, man. Like, go for a jog or something.
I just get my own room. Like, you're already making millions of dollars in salary. I'm just like, I'm going to pay for my room.
I would
like,
just lie to them, Cam. I wonder how many players do that. They secretly check in, and then they secretly just go to the lobby and go, listen, give me my own room on my own name here. On a fake name, and I'm going to go stay on the 23rd floor, and I'm not telling anybody.
I'm with you, Morency. Like, I would go, no, dude, we're grown men. You get your room, I get my room. This is the way things are going to be. Anyway, wow.
Oh, not surprised. The Arizona Cardinals are very cheap, too. Players are not fans of the owner of the Cardinals. Okay, so NBA basketball right now. 32-29 for the Clippers, Paul. The second quarter is just underway here. I don't know if you got any action in on this game. Clippers and Lakers going head-to-head for the last time. I took the Bulls plus the points tonight. Thinking that, you know what? Well, Cleveland, I bet against Dallas too, Cam, thinking that they would be spent after last night's game, and they weren't. They're just that good. They hit a bunch of threes tonight, but the Bulls are up by 6 in OT right now, and the Kings are getting murdered by the Nuggets. But what do you think of the Lakers and Clippers game, Paul?
Well, first of all, as Cam knows, I'm really ticked off at that Bulls game because I have the Bulls tonight. I actually bought it up to 6 from 5.5. It was a cheap buy. But I took them in the first quarter, and that just pisses me off. And it happens sometimes. You'll take a team early, they'll end up covering the game. So in some cases you wash on the game, and that's exactly what's going to happen tonight.
How do you guys approach that though? Like look at last night, Gabe. I got lucky with the Sharks, and they got murdered in their game. I didn't know San Jose's goalie was going to get hurt, but he got hurt, and then they scored 7 damn goals. Like, how do you attack? Like, it doesn't really go to script, Morency. Like, it says you expect the team to be well, but sometimes they come out of the gate. Paul, I'm really not down with those first quarter and stuff. Let's just ride it out for the game. Like, it does make sense mentally, but a lot of the time the opposite happens. That's what I find.
You know, but everything really did go to plan except 7 turnovers by the Bulls in the first quarter versus none for the Cavaliers. I mean, they weren't even down that much, all things considered, but they just gave the ball away. So it didn't work out tonight. We are going to catch the Bulls plus the 6. I took a sprinkle on the money line, so hopefully they will hold on, win the game. And, of course, we did have that Mavericks game over. That was pretty easy at 238. I think they went into the high 250s. And so it wasn't a terrible night, but I don't have any action on this Clipper game. I couldn't pull the trigger on the Clippers just because Paul George was out. And he's been so effective in the previous games this year against the Lakers. Lakers are in a spot tonight where if they could pull off the upset, they're going to play Washington tomorrow night. They could easily come in a little bit loose because they have the Nuggets in a huge rematch on Sunday. They played a couple weeks back. It was a nip and tuck game all the way through the fourth quarter, and the Nuggets ended up getting the victory. So, I forgot who got the victory. Actually, I'm going to take that back. But I just remember it being a very, very close game. I do believe
Nuggets
Denver got the win.
Yeah, Nuggets won. I remember AD went off in that game. I just had a quick flashback of AD going off, though, in that game. I don't think LeBron played, actually, at the top of my head. But 38-31 right now. Like you said, the Lakers, people were making a big deal. Not a big deal about it, Paul, but the storyline about this game tonight was this the last time that they're playing each other. And, you know what I mean? The Clippers are getting their own arena now. So this is the last time they're playing. And it has always meant something to Ballmer. Like, the Clippers have been pretty dominant over the Lakers because they've cared more about this. They know their owner wants to beat the Lakers. But I just sort of got the feeling tonight, and without Paul George as well, that the Lakers had a little edge to them tonight. You know what I mean? LeBron was going to sort of, no, this is our building anyway, so I don't know what you're all talking about. And I thought that AD would step up tonight. It's a high-scoring game, though, right now, guys. I think that's what we might be leaving on the table here. Paul talked about the Mavs and the Raptors. It was crazy. I even cashed an in-game over 250.5 in that game. But it's 234.5 here, guys, the Lakers and Clippers, and there's still 9 minutes left, Cam, in the second quarter.
Wow.
Like, to me. Yeah, I'm jumping in on the over, guys. It seems light, 234.5.
It does seem light. Yeah, we were talking about that on Coast to Coast today, Morency, and Carver, he was a big fan. That was his favorite play, was the over in that game, and I kind of agree. I don't see much defense there. Good call, Paul, on the Chicago stuff there, but I'm with you, Morency. This could be a spot. I'm not going to screw around with sides in this game. Let's just take points. Edmonton might be going on a power play here, Morency. I'm not sure if you got in the hockey game, but it's 2-2 with the Blues. I didn't realize, too, quickly, do you know, Gabe, I guess what team made the most units? I guess Detroit, and they were second. Your Vancouver Canucks third. But the St. Louis Blues, go figure, have made the most money this year on strictly money lines. I didn't even – maybe because they're dogs all the time and people don't respect them.
It's like I talked about. Nobody expected the Detroit Tigers made as much money for people as they did last year. But they have. All right, we'll get more NBA on the other side with Paul Bovey. We'll take a look at the overnight numbers. It's been a wild week in the NBA this week. I brought it up, Paul, last night on the show. It's almost old school. I mean, your Knicks actually, looked like the New York Giants on the court the other night against the Pistons. Tackled the dude, stole the ball, won the basketball game, and got away with it. And then I see the Knicks are filing an appeal against the Rockets. They want the league to overturn something.
Well, that was ridiculous. That was a couple weeks ago, and that actually cost me money because I had the over in that game, and it would have went to overtime. It was absolutely a ridiculous call. But you
realize the Knicks robbed the Pistons the other night too, right?
Oh, they did. Well, I would call it rob.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry, storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So we saw the insanity last night with the Cavaliers and the Dallas Mavericks, and I thought that both teams were a fade tonight. The Toronto Raptors were rested. They had a 3-game win streak, and the Raptors actually played well in the first half. They had a 67-66 lead. Dallas just weren't missing. Hardaway was hitting threes. Kyrie's hitting shots. Luka is just Luka. But what are you going to do? I didn't think that they would play back-to-back games. I didn't realize it was Luka's birthday, though, until today. And, of course, he's going to play on his birthday today. And so Luka turned 25 only. He dropped 30 points tonight. His prop was 32. He stayed under the number. But what do you think, Paul? Some people are starting to buy into the Mavericks. They are playing good basketball right now. They're battling on this road trip. It's been an endless road trip for them, so they're going to get back home right now. But are you buying in at the Mavs or Western Conference contenders?
No, I think they have a ceiling. I respect what Luka's doing, and I respect what Kyrie's doing. They're playing well together, but I still think this team just has a ceiling. And when it comes to the upper echelon of the West, they will not be able to catapult by them. So I like them. They're okay, but they're not great, and they're not going to get to the next level.
Do you like them or the Suns more? How do you feel about the Suns? Do you feel the Suns have a ceiling, or is the Suns ceiling the finals?
Yeah, look, the Suns lost to Houston the other night. I think they have a ceiling as well. I think there's going to be certain teams that are going to be more dominant here, notably the Nuggets, OKC, the Clippers, and I think those are the big three who you're going to have to compete with. So I don't think they're going to get by any of those three.
Yeah, I don't think I can't disagree. I don't think they have enough depth. That's the problem. The Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks as well. They just don't play playoff style basketball. You're not going to outscore teams every night and do the behind the back passes and everything. Oklahoma City's interesting once they get to the playoffs. SGA is the real deal. All right, we'll take a look at the overnight card on the other side. This is Sports Rage.